Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Joshua, the 20th chapter, dealing with the cities of refuge. So, as we saw in the previous chapters, the division of the land for an inheritance amongst the tribes. So this is Joshua chapter 20, verse 1. The Lord Yahweh also spake unto Joshua, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Appoint out for you cities of refuge, whereof I spake unto you by the hand of Moses. Now, a city of refuge was a location within the different tribes where, should there be, as we're about to read, a situation where somebody kills somebody else accidentally or, not premeditated, they didn't intend to do it, the slayer or the one who ended up committing the act can flee to the city of refuge. And what will happen is they would basically be allowed to, dwell there safely. And then their case would be heard of the elders and so on and so forth. In the city of refuge, when the avenger, which was a relative of the deceased who wanted to take revenge, if they were chasing or they were after the slayer, they couldn't get access to them if the slayer was in a refuge city. So that's basically how that went. And there are more details in the law pertaining to the scenarios around it. Verse 3, that the slayer that killeth any person unawares and unwittingly may flee thither. See? So if they kill somebody, this isn't murder, right? They can flee there. Now, there could be a case where it is murder and they do flee there. And then the case is judged, and then the judges or the elders deem it murder, well, then he's going to be cooked. And they shall be your refuge from the avenger of blood. That is the relative that is seeking revenge. And when he that doth flee unto one of those cities shall stand at the entering of the gate of the city, he shall declare his cause in the ears of the elders of that city. And they shall take him into the city unto them, and give him a place that he may dwell among them. So that's how it would work. He would get there, say whatever the case is, they let him in, and then he would have to stay there. And if the avenger of blood pursue after him, then they shall not deliver the slayer up into his hand, because he smote his neighbor unwittingly, and hated him not before time. See? So because this was an accident, it wasn't on purpose, he didn't premeditate it. When the avenger comes, they're there to make sure that they don't deliver up this guy into the avenger's hand. So that's why it's a city of refuge. It would keep him safe, or it would keep the slayer safe. And he shall dwell in that city until he stand before the congregation for judgment. So until they judge the case, right, and find out the details of it, that's where he's going to stay. And until the death of the high priest that shall be in those days. So as long as if that high priest is young, and you older, shit, you might as well move in there. Because that's until the death of the high priest, that's the only time that they would be able to leave, Then shall the slayer return and come unto his own city and unto his own town, unto the city from whence he fled. So once that condition is met, then he will be free to return back. And they appointed Kadesh in Galilee, in Mount Naphtali, and Shechem in Mount Ephraim, and Kirjath Arba, which is in Hebron, and in the mountain of Judah. And these were the cities that were appointed for refuge. And on the other side Jordan, by Jericho eastward, they assigned Bezer in the wilderness upon the plain, out of the tribe of Reuben, and Ramoth in Gilead out of the tribe of Gad, and Golan in Bashan out of the tribe of Manasseh. These were the cities appointed for all the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them, that stranger being like a Israelite foreigner in this case, because anything can happen, right? They could be dwelling in the land temporarily, and something like this could happen. It would apply for them as well. That whosoever killeth any person at unawares might flee thither, and not die by the hand of the avenger of blood, until he stood before the congregation. So this way you wouldn't have cases where, or it limits cases where, somebody does an accidental kill and then the avenger just comes and just kills him right then and there. He can have his case heard to clear it up, to say, hey, it was an accident, or so on and so forth. And that brings us to the end of the book of Joshua, the 20th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.